Now, Barbados is the world's newest republic, the Caribbean nation officially replacing Queen Elizabeth II as its head of state just this week. And Commonwealth countries around the world, including Australia, are watching it all unfold with interest.
Let's bring in royal expert and associate editor of The Telegraph in the UK, Camilla Tominey. Good morning, Camilla. Talk us through the transition. It was quite amicable.
It was very amicable and actually quite significant because, of course, it's awkward for Prince Charles as the future king to have to wave goodbye to Barbados on his mother's behalf. But actually, he did concede in a speech that obviously there was regret over colonialism and indeed slavery and its links to Britain and Barbados. It has been said that the Black Lives Matter movement has helped to move this forward to a republic, although arguably the elephant in the room here is, guys, the fact that while the Queen remains sacrosanct on the throne, there is a bit more ambivalence across the Commonwealth about her son as a replacement. And indeed, it was not long ago that the Commonwealth's heads of government meeting had to vote on Prince Charles replacing the Queen when the time comes. It wasn't just a given. And in a way, that perhaps shows a lack of confidence in him compared to his mother.
A lot of people in this country, there's some that are very vocal too about wanting Australia to make the switch. Are you expecting on the back of this other countries to follow?
Well, I think there are some fears that it's going to kind of set a chain in motion. I don't think right now, I don't think while the Queen is with us that that's going to happen. But as you guys know, yes, there has been over the course of recent decades an increase in popularity, albeit marginal and slow and gradual, for republicanism. I think when it came to your own vote in Australia, you'll be better placed to comment. But the issue is always, well, what do we replace the Queen as head of state with? And do people want another elected politician to have that presidential role? Equally, we've had countries like Canada flirting with the idea of republicanism in the past. As you guys will also know, what normally happens is the royals send in a delegation to try and carry out a charm offensive. I remember visiting Australia back in the day when Kate and William first brought Prince George, and there was this idea that George had become the Republican slayer there simply because it kind of reinvigorated support for the monarchy. But there are a few men down now, aren't there? The Sussexes aren't on the scene anymore, and therefore it means there's going to be a lot of work when it comes to the likes of Kate and William and Charles and Camilla and others visiting down under to make sure that that tie still exists.
We do love a royal tour. They always do bring out the crowds in Australia, so that might give you an indication of where we stand for the time being anyway. How would the Queen be feeling about what she was seeing in Barbados?
Well, I think certainly regretful. One of her most famous speeches happened when she was 21 years old, and she dedicated her life to the Commonwealth and said that she would represent them as best she could for the rest of her days. She is the world's most travelled monarch. She's visited the Caribbean many times. Interestingly, actually, she had delegated Barbados particularly to Prince Harry. I remember travelling to Barbados with him on several occasions because he went down very well on the island. Now he's absent. That makes it a little bit more difficult to make sure that some of these countries that do feel quite far removed from perhaps the idea of monarchy and how Britons carry themselves and support the Queen. So I think it's going to be a moment of regret, but also of understanding for HM. She doesn't want Commonwealth realms to be going into becoming republics. She wants to keep the family together. And I think there was hopes post-Brexit that British ties with Commonwealth countries as opposed to European ones would strengthen, not weaken.
All right, Camilla, always good to get your perspective on these things. Thank you.